Today I'm going to show you how to rekey a profile cylinder. This is from UHS Hardware by a brand called Kenaurd. I've never used this brand before, so I have pre-set up my bottom pins and lab springs just in case, because I have seen some of these brands I haven't seen before and the springs and everything are kind of wonky. So just as a precaution, I have these set up. This is the 70mm version with the thumb turn. And this is actually from a customer who wanted to replace their double-sided profile cylinder with one with a thumb turn. So they purchased this, brought it to me to rekey. So what we're going to do is use it for a video. Since again, I've never rekeyed one of these, we're gonna try it out. So unlike other videos that you've seen me rekey locks, you don't need a plug follower. All that you need is a 5/64 size Allen wrench. So what you're going to do is take your Allen wrench and loosen up all 5 of these caps on top of the chambers. And we're going to set them aside. Now we're going to use my really cool little custom pinning, you can call it a pinning mat. And this was made custom for me by Bobby Keys, who is another YouTuber in the lock sport realm. And he has a lot more subscribers than me, so you already probably follow him if you follow anything in the lock sport realm. But if not, I'll leave a link to his channel in the description below as well. He is an awesome guy and he makes these custom. So he will, use any color combination you guys want. He'll put your channel name on it or just your name in general if you don't have a channel. But he's a really nice guy. So if you don't have one of these super cool custom pinning mats, you can use a paper plate. I suggest a paper plate because it has those ridges, so when you set stuff down, it won't roll off your table. So paper plate is a good alternative. Now at this point, we'll move, these are the keys that came with the Kenaurd, and the code is 12234. Now, it's important that I use those because I'm using the lab pins 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. I want to see if this key will actually work once I've pinned it up, and I've actually code cut my own key to this code as well. I just want to see if they are accurate on their cuts. So once we've removed all of the caps, we're just going to turn it upside down and dump everything out and spin the cylinder just to make sure it's all out. From here, we can set the cylinder aside, and now we have to separate everything. So first, we're going to separate our springs. So we should count 5 springs. So I'll lay them out here. And then we're going to separate our top pins. Again, if you haven't seen my previous videos, your bottom pins will have a beveled edge and your top pins will be flat on both sides. So we'll take a top pin and a bottom pin here just to show you a side by side. See how this pin is flat on each side and this one has that little pointed edge. The pointed edge we do not need anymore once we've dumped it out, so we'll set it aside. And we will set our top pin there. Now we're going to go through and just separate our top pins from the bottom. So I'll do this quickly here for us. And then we can just toss the rest of these bottom pins out of the way. So I'm going to run through this quickly with their provided top springs, and I'm going to see if we run into any issues. If we do, I will switch to the labs. I'm hoping that it works with what they have, because then it would help you. If you order this and we're trying to rekey it yourself, we'll find out if this works. So I'm going to use my code cut key here, and we're going to key it up to this one. I don't want to use theirs. I don't trust other manufacturers' keys. So we're going to take our first bottom pin, and bevel side down, we're going to place it into the first chamber. We're going to follow that with a top pin, and follow that with a top spring. Now, once you first put it in, it's going to look like that, and that is because your keyway is going to be moving. So we're going to straighten out that keyway until he drops in. We're going to then cap it off. So pay attention, because one side you can fit your Allen tool in, the other side not so much. Now you can place these in upside down, so just take note and thread it in with your fingers first, and then do not over tighten these. Just let it go to where it stops you, and that's it. Take your key and test it. That works. Let's go to chamber 2. We're going to take bevel side down, drop in our number 2 pin, followed by a top pin, followed by a spring. Put this on camera here. That one fell in nicely. We will then take a cap, and again, finger tight to begin with, because we don't want to cross these. Very minimal room for error. And right when it stops, we will test it again. Kind of clicky. And that's what I was worried about with those top springs. So let's back off just a little bit, see if that changes anything. No. So for experimental reasons, let's drop out these top springs. That was just something I was worried about. Just from experience of customers bringing me random manufacturers' locks. The top springs are always kind of weird. So we're gonna go ahead and lost the top pins there, but that's okay. We could drop those back in. And then we're going to use the lab top pin or top springs. 1 and 2, and they fall in nice. Then we're going to cap these off. Let's do this here. Trying to keep this in frame. And there's one. Again, just till it stops. Number 2. See what happens here. Spin him down just till he stops. And works perfectly. So if you get your Rekey set, hopefully it comes with top pins for those bottom pins. One reason this happens, it might not just be a knock on Kenaurd, it might be they are using factory pins, and I am using a 3000th lab kit, so the pins will differ to a degree, slightly, and it can cause issues if you use the old top springs. Just the thing. If you even look here, these springs aren't even the same length, so that could also be just an issue. But I'm not using any more of their springs. I will use their top pins. So let's continue down. we'll go ahead and use a number 2 pin, followed by a top pin, followed by a lab spring, and cap it off. So let me try to see what I'm doing here for just a second. So tighten him down and test. Smooth. So I'm gonna finish these ones off here with both of these. Boom and boom. Now, if you're doing this for the first time, I would do these one after the other and test each one. That way you don't accidentally put the wrong pin in the wrong chamber. That's usually why I recommend doing it that way. Once you've been doing it for a while and you know where you're at and you have a layout like this, and you're not just using your desk or a paper plate and you're confident, you could do this, but you do want to test and check, just like you saw there with the top springs. Sometimes it just might not work to your Rekey set. So we'll go ahead and cap this last one off. And test. Perfect. Smooth and perfect. So if you ever want to, a little tight there, a couple times, there it is. There we go. So if you're going to buy something like this, you want to have a Rekey set that comes with top springs. I wouldn't recommend, especially if you're using a lab kit or anything else. Let's just test their key and see what happens. We'll see if it works still. No, their key doesn't even work. And that's the same code that I cut this on the Blitz machine, so so yeah, they're off a little bit there from Kenaurd. So this is actually cut to 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, as is that, but for whatever reason. So they're using different pins and springs from their factory. So this is, I guess, kind of a review video as well. On that note, I do like the quality of this. Like it doesn't feel weak. It doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel cheap at all. This actually feels like a quality profile cylinder, and I would use this, honestly. If it was me, if I was a homeowner and I just wanted a affordable cylinder, I would buy this. But again, as a locksmith, I would not be using their springs. I would use the lab springs along with the lab bottom pins. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, you learned something from it, and sorry I haven't been making videos as often as I used to. I will get back into that. So I'll see you guys in the next one.